Previously on Ace Attorney Investigations. Edgeworth here. Let's run through everything that happened last time. After proving to Lang that Meekins isn't smart enough to tie his own shoes, much less commit a murder, the kidnapping victim, Lance Amano, suddenly showed up. Kay and I were asked to leave, but we decided to investigate the kidnapper's hideout. A Spanish-speaking officer informed us that Oliver Deacon was actually former inmate Colin Deveray, and this scary-as-hell blue badger.
Come play with us, Edgeworth. Forever and ever.
Helped us discover that the bad badger costume was missing its gun. I'm not sure what this all means just yet, but let's see if we can put the pieces together on Ace Attorney Investigations. Next!
Mr. Edgeworth, sir! You gotta hurry, sir! Come on!
What is it, Detective?
They found a blue badger costume down in front of the main gate, sir!
What?
Isn't that what one of the kidnappers was wearing?
Survey says, no shit! That's why you've gotta come with me to the main gate! If we hurry, we still might be able to get there before Wolf Boy does, sir!
All right, let's make haste to the main gate.
Here we go to say the day again!
Where's the costume, Detective Gumshoe?
Just on the other side of the fountain, sir!
Oh my god, it's a decapitated badger! Was it out here in the open all along?
Nah, it was discovered in the tall grass back there. We moved it out here in order to examine it more thoroughly.
Then let's get down to it. Finally, a chance to see some of these clues before Lang lays his smoldering, piercing gaze on them. What do we have here?
Oh, it's another pendant! That's 2 treasures in one day! How lucky is that? And hey, this pretty baby's made of platinum silver, too.
Another pendant on top of the one we found on Mr. Deacon? Is it possible that these two...
Hold it right there! Hands off, Mr. Prosecutor. You sure know how to cross the line, don't you? A pendant, huh? This is a very decisive piece of evidence.
How can you tell?
Look here and read off what you see.
Lauren. Hey, it's a name that's engraved on this.
Aha! We have you now, Miss Kidnapper.
No, you don't understand.
Lolly, I can't believe you were one of my kidnappers.
Lance!
You're kidding! Miss Paups was one of the kidnappers?
Yes. It was me. I held Lance hostage.
So Miss Paups is one of the kidnappers. But even knowing that, I can't call this case solved. Or over.
Hey, guys, case closed. Get the car ready, and I mean the special one for this young lady.
Hold it!
Huh, again, Mr. Prosecutor? What is it this time?
Are you proposing that Miss Paups is also the culprit in the murder case? What happened? I thought Officer Meekins was your suspect.
We found it.
Found what?
That officer's gun. He literally dropped it in the middle of a thick patch of grass. Your country's police are a sham. Just look at how careless they are.
Who are you calling a sham?
The officer's gun didn't show any signs of having been fired. It can't be the murder weapon.
So Officer Meekins has been cleared of all charges, I see.
And that's when a brand new suspect comes walking onto the scene. The murder only happened because the kidnappers started fighting amongst themselves. As I recall, it was you who said that, right, Mr. Prosecutor?
Miss Paups! Did you really kill Mr. Deacon?
Yes, I killed him.
I can't believe it.
Thanks for the confession.
Objection! Agent Lang, it's much too early to declare this case closed.
Look at you, so sure of yourself. We've got the culprit's own confession and some very incriminating evidence. What more could you ask for?
Miss Lauren Paups,
Yes?
I want to hear it from you. Tell me your side of all that has happened today, from the kidnapping to the murder.
But why? I'm a kidnapper and the killer! Isn't that enough?
It's fine if you're the one behind everything, but only if that is the truth.
Oh my!
Now then, will you tell us the truth? Or is there some reason why you can't?
Slurpity slurp slurp.
I've had a change of heart. I think I'd enjoy seeing you sulk away as the losing mutt. All right, you heard me. Let's hear about all the evil deeds you committed today.
The one who came up with the kidnapping plan was the butler, Mr. Deacon. We knew that we could get rich by holding Lance hostage. Mr. Amano would pay anything to get his son back after all. Everything was going according to plan, but as soon as we got the money, Mr. Deacon turned on me and tried to kill me!
There, are you satisfied? She just confessed to her crimes a second time. At least you have the guts to admit what you've done. I can at least respect that much.
Miss Paups, is what you said really the truth?
Yes, it is.
If that is the truth, it certainly isn't the whole truth. Because there is something that seems a bit too improbable in her confession. Not only that, according to Kay's reconstruction, there's no way this was simply a crime of passion. Also, I'm fairly certain that the butler would never harm a hair on Miss Paups' head. But how to show her that? There must be something in my evidence that proves the point that I need to make to her. But first, Miss Paups, did you send this love letter? Objection! Never mind! Hold it! Why did you believe that?
Anyone who knows Mr. Amano would think the same.
I bet Lance is that old man's greatest treasure.
I suppose he would be to a doting father like Mr. Amano.
I always figured that was it too, and I was always envious of Lance for it.
Oh, because your dad's...
I got this pendant from my father. And I believe that as long as I have this, I'll find my father again someday. He'll welcome me into his arms, riding on the back of Pegasus.
That pendant, she must truly believe it to be the wings of Pegasus. It will be my wings to a contradiction if I can just find a place to use it. Hold it! Why do you think he did?
I have no idea, but maybe he had planned on doing so from the very beginning.
Miss Paups.
Wait, Mr. Deacon planned to kill Miss Paups from the very beginning? Was that ever really likely to happen? What should I do? Should I raise an objection? Of course I should. I'm sorry, but I don't think what you just claimed is all that likely.
Huh?
I don't think Mr. Deacon would have ever been capable of killing you.
But why? We were total strangers! It's not uncommon for people to kill each other over money.
Hold it! Miss Paups, you really are clueless, aren't you?
What do you mean?
You never knew what your role in the kidnapping was, nor do you know who you really are. But I do, and I can show you with this piece of evidence. This proves that Mr. Deacon wouldn't have been able to bring himself to kill Miss Paups. Take that!
Why are you He's showing this to me.
So what about the pendant?
This horse pendant, along with this piece of evidence, shows who you really are. Take that! These two pendants resemble each other, wouldn't you agree?
Hey, you're right! They're the same color and they're even made of the same material.
I believe that these two pendants are actually one.
Kawaii-chan anime desu!
Shall we give it a try?
Wow! It's totally I mean Pegasus.
But why? Why does my pendant match up with Mr. Deacon's?
You're a smart lady. I'm sure you can imagine why that might be.
No! That can't be!
So the two make a set. Ha! It's just another trinket. It's not as though this changes anything.
You lack imagination, Agent Lang. Very well. I'll show you with this evidence. This is the piece of evidence that gives meaning to the Pegasus pendant. At least, I think it's somewhere in here. Let's see. Take that!
Wow, Mr. Edge. Hold on, I'll get my tuba.
All right, everyone, let's just ignore that this happened. This is the piece of evidence that gives meaning to the Pegasus pendant. I really should clean this thing out. Take that! Oliver Deacon was just an alias for this man. His real name was Colin Deveray, the name that is etched on the horse pendant.
What? An alias?
I suppose he had to hide the fact that he was a felon somehow in order to live. And it makes sense given what is written in Mr. Deveray's dossier. But what I really wanted to point out was this. This specific section is what reveals the true meaning behind those pendants. Take that! Mr. Deveray had one daughter, and her name is Lauren Paups.
That's a lie! That person was not my father!
He couldn't come out and tell you he was your father because he was in hiding. However, I believe he was trying to secretly watch over you.
No.
Do you still believe that a man like that could kill the daughter he was separated from? Or even that such a man would allow his daughter to get involved in a kidnapping plot?
Not so fast!
Agent Lang, why are you imitating a hyena?
You're good at making things up in your head and deciding it's the truth, aren't you?
What are you trying to say?
Your thinking is too much too innocent. After all, I've thought of another possibility.
Is that so? Well, let's hear it.
I'll grant you that the two of them are father and daughter. But isn't it possible that they both knew that fact? It was no coincidence that the reunited pair became involved in the House of Amano. And the two of them made good use of their meetings to plan this little kidnapping. Wouldn't you say my scenario is perfectly possible as well?
So this is his version of how things might have been.
You don't have any proof that either one of them didn't know of their true relationship, right?
You mean they knowingly committed the kidnapping as father and daughter?
That's right, as one really rotten family.
Is that really what happened? I had better take a long, hard look at the evidence. I'm fairly certain there were 3 kidnappers involved. But proving that to Lang is going to be easier said than done. For heaven's sake, I could take him back in a TARDIS, show him the damn crime, and he still wouldn't admit I was right. Let's see, any evidence here? No, not really. Time to randomly press statements. Hold it! You mean how they plotted to commit this crime as blood relatives?
Can you think of a better partner? They're certainly a clever pair.
The butler and the girlfriend. No one would ever suspect that they were, in fact, family.
Yes, from the very beginning, they painstakingly practiced those roles very well.
Well, that wasn't particularly helpful. Let's see, no... Maybe. Hold it! One as a butler and one as the friend of the son, you mean?
They probably thought that was their best shot.
Is that what you honestly believe?
Of course.
Don't smirk at me like that. I am the only licensed smirker around here. Hold it! You think they knew?
Yeah, I don't think only the victim knew. I think the girl realized it as well. They both knew who the other person was, but they had to pretend that they didn't.
Because he was on the lam.
You got it. The victim couldn't exactly go around flaunting who he was. Furthermore...
No offense to Miss Paups, but she's far too flighty to pull off a charade like that for very long. More of a nervous broad or a hysterical dame, if you get my drift. But this hidden contradiction is definitely a problem that needs sleuthing. Agent Lang isn't wrong. His scenario is certainly a probable one.
You better hurry up and do something, or Lauren's gonna wind up looking really bad.
I know, but first things first. Is Agent Lang's line of logic factually correct? Did the two of them really knowingly commit the crime as father and daughter? Hold it! Precisely. And what father would ever willingly kill his own daughter?
Not so fast! I've seen a lot of things happen in my travels. And I can tell you that being related by blood is sometimes proof of nothing.
Don't try to play the screwed-up family card, Lang. I'll win. Hold it! I believe you're being a bit too overconfident for someone with no evidence.
Am I? Because I don't see you presenting any evidence to the contrary.
Without evidence to counter him, we're stuck at a draw. Agent Lang isn't wrong, except that he actually is. Let's see. I just need to prove that there were more than 2 kidnappers. But how? I feel like the evidence is right underneath my nose. No, not the victim's costume, or this pendant, or the love letter. Somewhere in this dossier? No, I'm not going to find evidence that there was more than 2 kidnappers here. Perhaps it's time for turbo prosecutor power! Nothing? I suppose I'm just going to have to slog through this. Where's a player's guide when you need it? Perhaps I can simply throw evidence at him until it confuses him into submission. Here, have a picture of a dead body. Objection! How about this? Objection! And one of these. Objection! Ready to give up yet? No? Well, I don't blame you. Wait! No! Go back! That was the piece of evidence I need! Oh no, we're going to do this again, aren't we? Didn't we learn our lesson about this back during trials and tribulations? Hold it! We've already seen this testimony. It is not going to help us. But please, continue to objection! Throw useless evidence at him because that's clearly helping! I haven't felt this put off since I asked Manfred what that scar on his shoulder was. All he would say was that it was proof positive that he bested my father, then he stared at a wall and hummed an aria from Das Rheingold for the next 30 seconds. And listening to him butcher Wagner in the throes of a vengeful reverie is still not nearly as awkward as waiting for you to pick the right evidence! Listen. www.gamefacts.com. Go use it, right now. I'll just sit here and let Lang stare at me for the next 30 seconds. Yes, just me and Mr. Fangirl Bait over here. You know, this stare down reminds me of one particular conversation I had with Phoenix a long time ago. He confronted me about something and I said, "Phoenix, this has been my worst kept secret. But to tell the truth, oh, you appear to be back. Have you figured out which piece of evidence it is yet?" Objection! Well, that's a hell no if I ever saw one. Cold. Colder. Arctic sub-zero temperatures. Warm. Warmer. Warmer. Boiling hot. There, you finally found it. Objection! This kidnapping wasn't planned by just two people alone.
And what kind of proof do you have of that?
Quite simply, there were 3 kidnappers.
3?
4 costumes were stolen from the Wild Wild West area's back room. We found one of them in the kidnapper's hideout. But as for the other 3, we can assume they were being worn by 3 different people. We also found a set of 3 cups and 3 folding chairs that were used in the hideout. It all clearly points to a 3-man group. And I believe this 3rd person is the real mastermind behind the kidnapping.
Who? Who is this mastermind?
I present to you the brains behind the kidnapping. Take that!
Lance Amano?
Yes, this abduction was in fact schemed up by Lance himself. Recall what he said when he appeared before us.
Did you see the faces of your kidnappers?
No, I didn't see their faces. But 2. One was a woman.
However, there were 3 kidnappers, which is in direct contradiction to what he said.
But I know I only saw 2 people.
This guy was being held hostage. It's possible he couldn't see all 3 of them.
Ah, yes. About when you were being held. I have my doubts about what happened then. Lance, would you mind telling us what happened while you were being held captive?
I really don't remember much anymore. Honest. But if I don't tell you at least something, you won't believe me at all, will you? I was kidnapped yesterday morning. They had me shut in that room blindfolded the entire time. But the kidnappers suddenly disappeared around the time I heard rain falling outside. My hands were cuffed, but it was a stroke of luck that they left me alone. I made my escape and ran away from that room as fast as I could.
Through the underground passageway, I presume.
Are you okay?
Sorry. I really didn't want to recall that horrible ordeal, but now you believe me, right?
No, not quite yet.
How can you not? Why do you look at me with icy daggers in your eyes?
Because he's a prosecutor, and because they're all like that.
I'll have you know, Agent Lang, a prosecutor's eyes are for discerning the truth. And should they be interpreted to be cruel at times, then so be it. There is a sticking point in Lance's testimony. Let's see what he offers up when I push a little. You can't hide behind Lang forever. Now let's see where to start taking apart this testimony. Hold it! The kidnappers disappeared.
The room fell into a sudden silence. I had been left behind like an unwanted mutt.
And what do you mean by unwanted mutt?
What a pointless question. It's not like he's gonna tell you anything new, you know.
It's a poetic simile. You should learn how to use them too. You may look refined on the outside, but it's no good if you're not refined on the inside as well.
One of us isn't refined on the inside, and it certainly isn't me. Hold it! Then those cuffs on your wrists. I suppose you are still cuffed in that case.
I am well aware of how I'm chained to reality. I couldn't find the key, so I'm afraid I'm stuck like this. Even though I escaped from the jail cell, I will forever be a prisoner.
Please stop talking in similes. Hold it! How did you manage to escape?
I wanted to just get out of there, but the door leading outside was locked, which is why I had to use the underground passageway to make my escape.
I remember our escape to be equally as hard. This is an invaluable piece of testimony. I mustn't let it go unexamined. I've got you now, you little brat. I'll pierce your lies with a sword of truth. Broken, yes, but... Objection! You say that the door leading out was locked, but was it really?
We're talking about that room behind the saloon fronts, right? Look, I heard that it took quite a few men to get that thing open. Right, Shih-na?
Yes, that's correct.
Then take a look at this!
What is that? A sword? It's not an especially reliable one if it's broken like that.
Allow me to start from the end. My conclusion is that the door was never locked. It was simply held shut by this sword, which was used to jam the handle. Lance, even though your hands were cuffed together, you could still use them. If that's the case, then why did you not just simply remove the sword and escape?
Why didn't I? I was disoriented. Yes, that's it. I didn't notice it.
As if I should accept such a bold-faced lie! You locked yourself in that room because you had to make yourself look like the victim! But you did not, in fact, possess the key to the door! That is why you used the prop sword to improvise and create a prison of your very own!
Not so fast! You've been making this guy out to be one of the kidnappers for some time now. I wonder if you've forgotten something very important along the way.
And what would that be?
A motive. What else? Do you honestly think that an upright, pure boy like him would hatch a completely pointless scheme such as kidnapping himself?
Objection! Not bad, Lang. I'm impressed. This proves that Lance did indeed have a motive to commit this crime. Take that! To put it simply, Lance has a very urgent need for money. This is hardly your typical love letter. It is, in fact, a collections bill. It appears our upstanding boy has accumulated quite a bit of debt. Isn't that right, Lance?
Looks like it's hard being the son of a rich man, too. It must be rough when you have to resort to stealing from your own old man, huh?
All right, I give up. I abducted myself.
Lance!
It's over, Lolly. In this life, we really are bound to our fates after all. All I wanted was to go with you to a new town, somewhere where no one would know us. I wanted us to be well off with that 1 million, but now that dream is over.
Oh, Lance!
Then you're giving yourself up?
Yes, I had planned to run away from this world with my Lolly. Oliver even helped us with the plan, but then he had to go and stab us in the back!
He turned on you?
Maybe he didn't want to split the ransom money. That's my guess. It happened almost right after you made the drop-off. When we were alone, he attacked me all of a sudden. After a brief struggle, I was able to contain him and keep him under control. We left him inside that room as Lolly and I made our escape. We wore different costumes and split up. Lolly left first in the blue badger costume.
That would mean the person Officer Meekin saw was Miss Paups.
But right then, the old man just had to wake up! I was careless, and he tackled me pretty hard from behind. Then, Oliver put on a bad badger costume. Took the suitcase with $1 million, and ran. I contacted Lolly right away and warned her that he had a gun. They had no idea that they were related, so I thought that it could only end badly.
I still don't believe it! That person was not my father! Because if he was, I just killed my own father!
Objection! Objection! Hold it! Hold it! Eureka! Take that! Take that! Next time!
Miss Paups, she shot her own dad without even knowing who he really was?
If what she says is true.
Thank goodness I was able to find the final pieces of evidence.
That's it? These are the case-making pieces of evidence?
What the heck is that scrap of paper?
Please allow Mr. Amano complete freedom to do as he sees fit, it says.
What?
Let's go! Project!